You know, you gotta hand it to Donald Trump. He seems to have an uncanny knack of being able to flip political criticism of him and make it bite back. This time, he's taken the orange man bad mantra and used it as an opening to bolster his move to stop one of the most insane and onerous federal bans in history, the Bush-Obama ban on the incandescent bulb.
To me, most importantly, the light's no good. I always look orange. And so do you. The light is the worst.
Oh, and with that opener, Donald Trump shed light on a single issue that serves as not only an example of U.S. product and environmental mandates, but of the larger issue of mandates versus the market and the Constitution. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. Indeed, last week, Mr. Trump offered his quick observations at a GOP gathering in Baltimore, referring to his administration's January move to stop the Department of Energy, and where is that in the Constitution, regulations that would have banned the incandescent light bulb. First, Trump offered this.
The light bulb. People said, what's with the light bulb? I said, here's the story. And I looked at it. The bulb that we're being forced to use, number one, to me, most importantly, the light's no good. I always look orange. And so do you. The light is the worst.
Then he dove into the more salient points about the absurdity of the government telling us that we can't buy one of the greatest inventions in history, the cheap 1870s incandescent light bulb, and that we had to start buying what bureaucrats wanted, the compact fluorescent bulb.
But number two, it's many times more expensive than that old incandescent bulb that worked very well. And very importantly, I don't know if you know this, they have warnings. If it breaks, it's considered a hazardous waste site. It's gases inside. And read what they say. If it breaks, bring it to your local whatever, have it wrapped, have it this. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Now, Mr. Trump did not address the more fundamental issue of the government, quote, regulating, i.e., commanding anything in the market that we can buy. But his statement and actions in January open a window to the conversation. Specifically, the light bulb issue arose in 2007 when His Highness George W. Bush signed a law that would have, by 2011, as Jacob Sullum wrote almost 10 years ago about this, conventional 100-watt bulbs illegal. By 2014, all traditional bulbs, except for a few specialized uses, will be abolished to be replaced by more efficient alternatives, mainly compact fluorescent lamps, CFLs. And as Sullum noted, CFLs cost 6 times more than incandescent bulbs. They contain mercury, an element that is poisonous to mammals, reptiles, insects, and fish, and that sees expensive environmental controls that waste more time and resources to handle broken or discarded bulbs, that also see their so-called long life cut greatly if they're turned on and off frequently, and that take longer than incandescents to achieve maximum brightness, that emit harsh whines, similar to what you might hear from an SJW screeching about politics when they're attached to dimmers, and that can trigger headaches in some people, similar to what happens to me when I hear Barbra Streisand music. Now, that 2007 law mandating the 2011 implementation got pushed back to 2014 and then pushed back even further. But by 2014, U.S. manufacturers had already changed their plants and manufacturing processes such that by 2010, even General Electric was no longer manufacturing the incandescent 100-watt bulb. And that brings us to January of this year. When Donald Trump took office, he must have seen something pretty crazy about this, because Donald Trump got the Department of Energy to look at this. And in January, they changed policies. Department of Energy spokeswoman Shaylin Hines said the law requires light bulb regulations, quote, only when doing so would be economically justified, end quote, and that the Obama administration regulations do not meet that standard. The rules text posted to the Federal Register website on Wednesday says the law outlining what the department can study changed in 2017. So get this. According to the law, until it changed in 2017, the Department of Energy couldn't even study the economic consequences of its own policies on the marketplace. The Obama-era rules would increase the price by almost 300%, leaving the cost burden on American consumers and businesses, Hines said. This action will ensure that the choice of how to light homes and businesses is left to the American people, not the federal government. Which is a great little thing for this tiny invention and for our ability to be able to buy that tiny invention. However, as I mentioned, it really doesn't go far enough, because although we're now free to buy some of these and manufacturers are free to make them again, the overall paradigm of government regulation of the products that we can buy and that manufacturers and sellers can make and sell is still not being questioned. So hats off to Donald Trump for bringing light, as the pun might go, to this issue. But we should shed a little more light on the larger issue of government regulation of products themselves, which is not sanctioned in the Constitution and really, at its heart, is an act of force by politicians threatening people with some sort of consequence if they make, sell, or buy something the politicians don't like. Hey, thank you so much for planning to come to MRCTV.org, for watching the MRC-TV videos, and for telling your friends about what you see here. We greatly appreciate it. And feel free to comment if you're watching on YouTube, because I always hop in and converse with people there. Thanks so much. For MRC-TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.